So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, we are from the group Flamingo. This is a paper for ENCO 2107 in syntax. So, our paper is entitled The Differences of Oral Syntactic Structure Between African American Characters and Their Conversation Patterns in the Movie White Chick. So, my name is Adika. I'm going to be the first one who present about the introductions. So, basically, our paper is about a movie White Chicks, where in the movie itself we can see the differences between African American English and also standard English, where there are differences such as syntactic structure that we can find in the movie. So the reason why we choose this movie is because the director himself direct and act in the movie, and he is actually African American himself. So we can see there are differences between the African American characters and also the white American characters. Moving on to the problem statement, as we stated in the previous video, the problem statement is that we want to see what are the differences, differences between African American English, especially in its lexicon pattern and the sentence structure compared to the standard English. So the research objective is actually to pretending the differences between standard English and African American English. So we would like to further investigate the differences of the syntactic patterning in the AAVE speakers in the movie of White Chicks. Moving on to the next part. So moving on to the research questions. So there are two research questions that we are going to cover in the paper. The first one is, what are the differences of AAVE and standard English in terms of syntactic patterning in the movie White Chick itself? And the next one is, how does the African American characters communicate with each other and other characters in the movie? My name is Najwa.
Hi, I'm Najwa Manina. So I'm going to cover on the literature review. So basically in this paper we have covered on the first subtopic, which is African American Vernacular English, the AAVE, as mentioned by Atika just now. So we state that the African American English is basically, it's not English with mistakes. It is actually an established way of people in a certain community communicate, and they have their own rules and structure. So and this type of English is basically portrayed negatively in movies because of they are taught to be English with mistake. So moving on to the next subtopic, which is the differences in syntactic structure of AAVE and standard English. Even though it is established language, it is adapted from English. So the differences made by the speakers of African American vernacular English is considered as mistake by most of the native speakers of English language. So one of the example is like the past tense D is normally omitted, so because they naturally think that it because of the voiceless or the is not it's not supposed to be combined in their language. Next one is, for example, the verb be. They usually replace it with the third person verb to be. So for instance, they are going to use the she be sweeping instead of she is sweeping. Okay, so that is, and there are other things as well, especially the ain't. They basically use it frequently. She ain't got nothing, even though the pronoun use is like singular third person. So moving on to the effects of context and the use of AAVE, according to Beaulieu, she stated that the language shift is often made by the female student of the community instead of the male students, and they tend to shift the language when they are in depending on the formality of that situation. So moving on to the methodology, we collect the data through, we analyze the script of the movie White Chick, and it is portrayed by the African American characters. And our instrument is the script of the movie itself, White Chicks.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So I am Atira. So I'll be presenting the finding and discussion part for this paper. So based on our table, our findings that will be shown in the appendix section later, it shows that the data collected for the African American English, words that are being used by the characters in the movie White Chicks are actually more usage. There are more usage of double negations, and also as for example the word "aim," where they used to indicate the phrase "am not," "has not," "are not," or even is not. And Jackson, as we can see from the literature review, Jackson also has stated that African American people would use standard English to communicate between other people, to show that they can adapt to the formality context of English people, rather than using African American English as they can be seen as insulting or offending other people. So as for the conclusion, our study has found that there are not really much difference between the two languages, which is Standard English and African American English. Just that the choice of word and the arrangement of the sentence structure is a bit different. And as mentioned earlier, for the objective of this paper, we are going to investigate the differences between Standard English and African English sentence structure. So, as for appendixes, here is the appendix that from the appendix where the data has been tabulated. You can see here the word "aim" and the word "gonna," and yeah, you can see all the data and also the description for the word used.
So basically, what we have found through this research, this study that we conducted, we found that there is no significant difference between the pattern of African American English and also Standard English in the movie White Chick itself, but the characters tend to adapt to the situation, and hence it can be concluded that formality is one of the effects that contributes to language shift in movie White Chick. Thank you.